All trucks normally come with powerful engines, right? Wrong. You'd be surprised by how many truck engines are an absolute nightmare. In fact, some truck engines are so bad that most buyers have to either replace the engine within months of buying the truck or just sell off the truck entirely. So if you want to know the truck engines to avoid, you've come to the right place. And don't go anywhere, because the last engine on this list is so bad that it was dubbed the worst engine ever made. Coming in at number 20 is the Toyota 3VZe 3-liter V6. Toyota has built a reputation for reliability, but the 3VZe 3-liter V6 was a rare misstep. The biggest issue with this engine was head gasket failures. It was so common that Toyota even issued a recall for certain models. Overheating issues made things worse, and despite its 3-liter displacement, the engine felt sluggish, especially when hauling or towing. Many owners found themselves facing expensive repairs, sometimes more than once, making it one of Toyota's most problematic engines. Dodge's 4.7-liter V8 takes the 19th spot. This engine might have seemed like a solid alternative to the legendary 5.7-liter Hemi, but owners quickly found out it had some serious flaws. One of the worst was the tendency for valve seats to drop, leading to catastrophic engine failure. On top of that, the engine was notorious for accumulating oil sludge at an alarming rate, leading to low oil pressure and early wear. The cooling system was another weak point because it was poorly designed. This often led to warped heads and blown head gaskets. It was so bad that most mechanics would advise against repairing a blown 4.7-liter and instead recommend an entire engine swap. Number 18, Nissan 5-liter Cummins V8. Nissan tried to break into the heavy-duty truck segment with the 5-liter Cummins V8 in the Titan XD, but the results were disappointing. The biggest letdown was fuel economy. Many buyers expected better efficiency from a Cummins-branded diesel, but real-world miles per gallon figures were barely better than a gasoline truck. Then came the mechanical issues, turbocharger failures, expensive maintenance, and emissions system problems that led to frequent check engine lights. Nissan eventually scrapped the 5-liter Cummins after just a few years, admitting defeat in the diesel truck market. Next up at number 17, Chevrolet GMC 5-cylinder Atlas. GM's first attempt at a 5-cylinder truck engine in the Chevy Colorado and the GMC Canyon was an odd choice, and it didn't go well. The 5-cylinder Atlas had a reputation for vibration issues, making for an uncomfortable driving experience. Oil leaks were another common headache, and finding a mechanic familiar with this unusual engine was often a challenge. While it wasn't the absolute worst engine ever made, it certainly wasn't one that truck owners looked back on fondly. At number 16, we've got the Ram 3-liter EcoDiesel V6. On paper, this engine was a great idea, a fuel-efficient diesel option for half-ton trucks. But in practice, it came with too many problems. The EGR system was a frequent point of failure, leading to costly repairs. Turbocharger issues also popped up regularly, and the emissions control system often triggered check engine lights, frustrating owners. Despite some updates over the years, the 3-liter EcoDiesel developed a reputation for expensive maintenance and reliability concerns, pushing many buyers back toward gas-powered alternatives. At number 15, GM 6.2-liter diesel V8. You'd think a 6.2-liter diesel would pack some serious power, but GM's first attempt at a light-duty diesel in the 1980s was anything but impressive. With a pathetic 130 horsepower, this engine had trouble moving even unloaded trucks, let alone anything with a trailer. To make matters worse, it leaked oil like a sieve, and repairs weren't cheap. GM had hoped to take on Ford and Dodge in the diesel market, but this engine fell so short that it became a cautionary tale for years to come. If the 6.2-liter diesel was bad, the 6.5-liter wasn't much better, which is why it's at our 16th spot. GM tried to improve on its earlier failure, but reliability issues still plagued this engine. One of the worst offenders was the pump-mounted driver, an electronic fuel injection component prone to overheating and failure. When it failed, the engine would stall, and sometimes while driving, which wasn't just annoying, but dangerous. Power was still underwhelming compared to competitors, and the 6.5-liter never built the loyal following the Ford and Dodge's diesel engines had. At number 13, we've got the Ford 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6. EcoBoost engines have had their fair shares of highs and lows, but the 2.6-liter V6 is one of the more controversial ones. While it offered solid fuel efficiency and decent power, it had a critical flaw: the valve train. Ford had to issue recalls and extend warranties after reports of premature camshaft bearing failures, which would lead to loss of power while driving. For an engine designed to be the efficient workhorse of the lineup, this kind of issue was a deal breaker for many truck owners. Next up, at number 12, is the GM L87 V8. This is a modern engine with old-school problems. This engine's been under investigation for serious bearing failures that cause complete engine seizures. This issue has affected the Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra from 2019 to 2024, leaving many truck owners stranded with little warning. When an engine locks up due to bearing failure, it's not just an expensive repair. It often means full engine replacement. GM hasn't fully resolved the issue, leaving many owners uncertain about the long-term reliability of their trucks. Coming in at number 11, another EcoBoost engine that makes the list is the Ford 3.5-liter V6. This engine is a power plant that should have been a home run, but instead turned into a headache. The biggest issue it had was defective intake valves. Over time, they become brittle and failed, leading to catastrophic engine damage. In the US alone, over 800 engines had to be replaced due to this problem, prompting Ford to issue recalls. While later versions of the 3.5-liter EcoBoost improved, early models left many truck owners with expensive repair bills and a serious lack of trust in the engine. Number 10. The 2004 Chevrolet Silverado Hybrid. Hybrid trucks have come a long way, but in 2004, Chevy was ahead of its time, and not in a good way. The first-generation Silverado Hybrid wasn't a true hybrid like modern models. Instead, it was a mild hybrid that used an electric motor to assist the gasoline engine. The problem was that it barely improved fuel economy. Many buyers expected big miles per gallon gains, but the truck's real-world efficiency was only slightly better than a standard V8 Silverado. Worse, the added complexity made repairs more expensive, and mechanics often struggled to diagnose hybrid-related issues. Coming in at number 9 is the Oldsmobile 5.7-liter V8 diesel. GM's attempt to capitalize on the diesel craze of the late 1970s and early 1980s turned into one of the biggest disasters in automotive history. Instead of designing a new diesel engine from the ground up, Oldsmobile engineers modified an existing V8 to run on diesel. The result was a nightmare of mechanical failures. Weak head bolts caused head gasket failures, oil pan leaks were frequent, and the fuel injector pumps corroded easily, leading to rough running and stalling. The worst part was that many of these engines failed well before hitting 100,000 miles, and their reputations for unreliability was so bad that GM nearly destroyed consumer trust in diesel trucks for decades. Ford's 6-liter Power Stroke diesel V8 takes our 8th spot. This engine is infamous among diesel engine fans for all the wrong reasons. It was supposed to be a major upgrade from the 7.3-liter Power Stroke, but instead, it turned into one of the most unreliable diesel engines ever put in a pickup truck. The biggest problem was its fragile exhaust gas recirculation system, which constantly failed and led to overheating issues. Oil cooler blockages were another major issue, often leading to complete engine failure. High-pressure oil pump failures and weak head bolts only added to the nightmare, and many owners found themselves paying thousands for repairs. Lawsuits between Ford and Navistar, the engine's manufacturer, only made things worse, with both sides blaming each other for the engine's failures. Number 8. Chevrolet 5.7-liter V8. As if GM hadn't learned from the Oldsmobile 5.7-liter diesel disaster, they decided to double down with the LF9, a slightly revised version of the same terrible design. The LF9 still suffered from weak head gaskets, oil pan leaks, and poor build quality, but what really made it bad was its performance. With just 120 horsepower, this diesel engine made even the slowest gas-powered trucks feel fast. It struggled to tow, lacked low-end torque, and had a reputation for stalling at the worst times. GM eventually abandoned the engine, but not before frustrating thousands of truck buyers. At number 7, we've got the Ford 6.4-liter Power Stroke diesel V8. If Ford's 6-liter Power Stroke was bad, the 6.4-liter wasn't much better. Ford tried to improve reliability, but the new engine had plenty of its own issues. One of the biggest problems was oil dilution. Fuel would mix with the engine oil due to the way the injectors were designed, causing premature wear and frequent failures. Radiator problems were another major headache, with leaks and failures happening far too often. The engine was also incredibly complex, making repairs ridiculously expensive. Many mechanics hated working on the 6.4-liter, and owners found themselves paying thousands in repair bills. Ford quickly moved on from this engine, introducing the much improved 6.7-liter Power Stroke. But by then, the damage was done. Next up at number 5, Chevrolet's 8.1-liter V8. On paper, an 8.1-liter V8 sounds like a powerhouse, but in reality, this engine was a gas-guzzling nightmare. Found in heavy-duty Chevrolet and GMC trucks from the early 2000s, the Vortec 8100 was designed to deliver big towing power. Unfortunately, it came with some serious drawbacks. First, the fuel economy was abysmal, even by heavy-duty truck standards. Owners reported single-digit miles per gallon figures, making this one of the thirstiest engines GM ever built. Second, oil consumption was excessive, with some trucks burning through quarts of oil between changes. Carbon buildup on the intake valves further reduced efficiency, leading to rough idling and performance issues. While the 8.1-liter had its fans for sheer size and torque, most owners found it impractical and expensive to maintain. Number 4, the Dodge 5.2-liter V8 Magnum. Dodge's Magnum engines were known for decent power in their day, but the 5.2-liter V8 had a critical flaw that made it a headache for owners. The intake manifold gasket was prone to failure, leading to oil being sucked into the combustion chamber. This caused excessive oil consumption, misfires, and even knocking sounds from the engine. Many owners didn't catch the issue till it was too late, leading to severe internal damage. Dodge trucks from the 90s with this engine often suffered from sluggish performance and reliability issues, making it one of the weaker V8 options in the brand's lineup. At number 3 is the Toyota 5.7-liter V8. It's surprising to see another Toyota engine here, but the Toyota 5.7-liter V8, aka 3URFE, was another one of the brand's biggest failures. The engine had a major problem with camshaft failures. Owners reported sudden loss of power, rough idling, and metallic grinding noises coming from the engine. When the camshaft failed, it often led to complete engine failure, requiring costly replacements. Another problem was the secondary air injection system, which was prone to clogging and failure, triggering check engine lights and expensive repair bills. Coming in at number 2 is the Nissan 5.6-liter V8. Nissan's full-size trucks never quite reached the popularity of their American competitors, and the 5.6-liter V8 was part of the problem. While it made decent power, the engine suffered from serious reliability concerns. The biggest issue it had was the timing chain tensioner failures. When these failed, the engine would develop a loud rattling noise, and if left unchecked, the timing chain could slip, leading to catastrophic engine damage. Oil leaks were another major complaint, with valve covers and gaskets prone to premature failure. Nissan's trucks already struggled to compete with Ford, GM, and Ram, and this engine's problems only made things worse. At the very top of our list is one of the most controversial truck powertrains in recent history. Tesla's Cybertruck was initially marketed as the future of electric pickups, but it's been plagued with serious issues right from the start. The most alarming problem was its faulty drive inverters, which caused a sudden loss of propulsion, leading to multiple recalls. According to reports, the Cybertruck ranked worse than 91% of 2024 vehicles in reliability, a shocking statistic for a truck that was supposed to redefine the industry. Early buyers found themselves dealing with unexpected breakdowns, software glitches, and quality control problems. While electric trucks are the way of the future, Tesla's execution left a lot to be desired, making the Cybertruck's powertrain one of the most disappointing truck engines ever. Now, is there any other truck engine that you think should have been on this list? Drop that in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of our videos. See you in the next one.